Hey, Sean, what you working on over there?
Just nothing really.
A new invention of some sort?
Well, yeah, I'm an inventor, obviously.
Okay.
Not a podcaster. I'm an inventor, so
Okay. What does it do?
I don't know actually. Really, it's just kind of. Oh, I think it's ready.
Fire it up.
Okay. I don't think it worked.
Do you smell argon gas?
Trevor, no. Relax and Rewind Primer's up next.
You're talking about making a bigger one. You're talking about making a bigger one.
All right, welcome back to Relax and Rewind. This week, of course, was Trevor's pick. It is the 2004 film Primer. Trevor, you put your what?
What are you getting at?
Hold on. The argon gas is getting to me still.
Oh, man.
We just woke up from that.
You know, it's a stable gas, noble gas,
Is it?
Yes.
All right. Well, this isn't
and
your
it
fact
aids
corner,
in
bud.
your time travel machines, apparently.
I guess. But yeah, this week is Primer, and I was going to start before I was rudely interrupted and made me lose my train of thought. I was going to ask you. You put your faith in God once again.
Yep, I had Letterboxd decide.
Yep.
Well, yeah, I let it decide, and then you gave me the 4 that it gave you, and I was like, Primer.
Do you remember what
Nope.
4 those were?
No.
I think I deleted all the pictures, but I can easily find them. Just because I think it's really funny to look back and go, what?
It's funny how there's some things on your watch list you want to watch more than others.
Well,
by
yeah,
like a lot.
But yeah.
Because like you gave me the 4, you gave me the 3 before Primer, and I was like, nah. Oh, Primer? Yeah.
Primer.
I've been meaning to watch that one.
While I look for the other 3, why did you pick this film? Why was this one the one that stood out?
So, I had heard about this movie a long time ago. I don't even know where. But basically just a movie about time travel is really all you need to get me interested into it.
Yeah.
So, and plus I heard it was really good, so.
Well, I know we'll get into the awards and where it premiered and everything, but yeah, I didn't realize this was on my watch list either. I don't remember.
Why wouldn't it be?
Well, I don't remember honestly putting it on my watch list. So when I went to look at, went to Letterboxd to, put this on my watch list, it was already on there. So I was like, oh, huh, all right.
That's probably how I heard of Primer was like, I was on YouTube or something, and
it definitely
I looked up like
a YouTube movie,
time travel movies, like the best time travel movies, something like that.
Yeah,
and it came up in one of those lists.
Oh, it's very much a like, like this is probably on like Watch Mojo's like at least 5 Watch Mojo lists about time travel.
5 is probably a low estimate.
That
they're just they'll make a list that's like not even a good list. Like they'll make a list of like 10 movies where the main character wears a red coat. And then they're just like, wow.
I remember like people making fun of him was like the top 10 staircases in movies.
Staircases? Yeah. I mean, pretty much.
So, yeah, I can't find the other ones.
It doesn't. Those are irrelevant anyway. Primer
Well,
was
I do
always
remember,
Primer was predestined to be the choice. Think about that.
Whoa, that
predestined.
That wraps into the movie. I get that reference now. Hey, but I don't know where that was going. But before we get into the awards, we always talk a little bit beforehand. But I do want to ask you, how many people do you think this movie made say after seeing it they were like, I could easily make a movie?
Well, I know us two thought that.
Yeah.
This movie, I didn't
well,
realize.
Not including us, because
I didn't realize.
Do you really want to not dox yourself, but do you really want to out yourself on
hear
about that?
First of all, I didn't realize this movie was such a low budget movie. It's like a $7,000 budget.
Yes.
Now, I'm just looking at it and I'm like I said, I'm striving to make I'm striving to make that $0 budget movie where it's like you don't buy anything to make the movie. It's just stuff you already have.
Do you think that we can make a movie like this?
As like with a concept that good, probably not.
That's what I was wondering, because this is like when I was watching this.
Because we could make a time travel movie, but it wouldn't be good.
Yeah. Because
we'd get confused writing this screenplay.
Oh, very much. But we were talking before this off mic. You were like, this movie is not great.
Oh, the cinematography is kind of lacking.
It's very visually not great.
There's a couple times when the characters is talking, but like they're framed in such a way that you can only see one of them or something, and like that feels like very cinematography 101 class type thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, cause like there's one view where they're behind some like a closet door or something, and you can only see Aaron and not Abe.
Yeah.
So it's like this feels like
it feels
some kind of cinematography trick, but
the best way to describe this movie is very, very
basic,
well-written student film.
Yes.
Like, and because of course I had this on here of like, you can obviously tell it's low budget. I mean, as being a film major, I see a lot of, this is the blessing and the curse of being a film major, is that like looking at something like ADR, like there is so much is it ADR? No, it's not. Is it?
It's a very
not
basic visual movie.
Yeah,
with a very like a complex plot.
I'm talking about like audio, like dubbing over and stuff.
Yeah,
you can tell there is some scenes where I
maybe
think
the audio doesn't quite sync up.
Well, there's one scene that's very obvious, and they're walking down the hallway in the rental place.
Yeah.
To go to the time machine box.
You can't see their mouths.
You can see their mouths, but they're saying stuff and they're just walking. Like they're not saying anything in the scene, but the ADR is like has voices. So it's like very odd. And then like some cuts don't really work, and there's some shots out of focus, and it feels very much like a movie where the person would go, "Well, no, that's intentional." It's the guys, that's intentional, and like secretly deep down it's like, oh fuck,
no,
I
it
forgot
wasn't.
about that. Yeah, so but I did want to ask, did it, because the story though is very well written, and you brought that up of like, it's a very well written story. That's what kind of holds this movie in such a high regard, honestly.
The thing about Primer is it really sells you on the fact that these dudes just accidentally made a time machine in their garage. Like, it's very believable. Like, the language they're using, you know how like movies usually have the elevated language to make it sound like they're talking about something scientific or smart, but they're making up words and stuff, and it's just like dumb mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, but I mean,
this movie is like, Primer uses like actual. They mention like things from physics.
That's what I was gonna say. That's like the actual
they mention
thing.
like some stuff from math when they're talking about this or that, and they're using like numbers.
Well,
and they say like decagrams, and like you got to set it to decagrams and stuff instead of whatever other measurement, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It makes it a lot more believable, for sure. Like it's very
yeah.
the
Well,
dialogue for the parts where you're not like it's not developing character or anything. It's just talking about like the machine, like their process of building, like very good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I don't want to step on like the fact corner or anything. But did the thing though is that I was like looking into it, doing a little bit of research.
Turns out time travel's real.
Just like, oh, it's no,
we're
not.
What they did in this movie, the military actually copied it in an experiment, and they found that it works.
I don't know if you've listened. You weren't on the Jerry Maguire pod.
No.
But me and Graham.
Does Jerry time travel?
No. Well,
oh.
The reason why I asked is because we've got into this. We got into a bit for some reason that the movie Air, like the one that was released this year, directed by Ben Affleck, was actually the highest, budget-wise, is the highest that a movie is, like the highest budget movie ever, at like $1 billion, solely because they made a time machine to travel back to the 70s to film it. And so, like, when you started going on, like, time travels, I was like, oh, God, not another air time travel, air time machine thing again. But as I say, not to step on the, like, fat corner, but I think the big thing that why this has those technical words that you brought up work really well is because the guy who wrote and directed this,
is just some
Carruth,
nerd.
He was a software engineer.
Yeah.
Before he made this. So, like, he knew a lot of it going in.
Filmmakers can come from anywhere.
They really, well, like, Wes Anderson was I think he was a poetry major or something like that.
I thought you were going to say some, like, lad who was orphaned and dropped off in some whimsical school for, like,
do you think Wes Anderson just, like, went to Hogwarts or something? Like...
It would make sense.
I mean, yeah, but but
you're a wizard, Wes.
I mean, has he worked with like Daniel Radcliffe yet?
No, but he should.
He's worked with Ralph Fiennes, who's Voldemort.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. So
yeah,
look at that. It all connects together. But
you say Ray? Is it Ralph Fiennes?
It's Ray Fiennes.
Really?
Yeah.
Why did I think it was Ralph?
Because it's looks like it. It's spelled that way, but it's Ray Fiennes.
What?
Yeah. Well, as I exclaimed while you were talking.
All right, we need to time travel so I don't say that. Make that mistake.
Nah, that's on recording, baby. That's stuck. That's set in stone. But I found your 4 choices. So it was Primer, the Kubrick film Paths of Glory, it's a war movie. Then The Boondock Saints, and House of Gucci.
Well, I mean, Primer is the best choice out of those 4, easily.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, I think Paths of Glory has its.
Okay, those other 3, like, I don't even really care about. Like, they're on my watch list, but like,
All right.
Primer was the one I really wanted to watch.
I mean, yeah, but to just go quickly also, because we've talked about how this movie is not great acting, all that kind of low budget, but it's great story. Do you think the story though is a little too confusing?
Oh, I was completely lost.
I was lost the entire time.
I was lost the entire time. Don't get me wrong. The only reason it makes any sort of sense to me now is because I watched a video explaining the movie. And you could ask yourself, does that make the movie good? I think a movie that doesn't dumb anything down is better than a movie that does. That's what what's his name? Steve Carruth.
Oh yeah,
Carruth?
Steve Carruth.
The main guy who put this together.
I'm just assuming his name is Carruth.
That's the way it's. I don't know.
Sure.
Us in pronouncing names, we really need to like.
We need to take like a course or something.
But anyway, his whole deal was like he didn't want to dumb it down for the audience. Like, well, he felt like he needed to, and then they pushed back on that, and I'm glad they did.
Oh, yeah.
Because
I'd agree there.
Dumbing it down so in a way where it's like obvious, that's not as much fun. I don't need the filmmaker to like spoon feed me everything in a, you know. I like a movie with some ambiguity, and I like some things where maybe you have to watch it more than once to get.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, I think, like, because I was also gonna, put in, do you think this is the best time travel movie? Because there is a lot of time travel movies that kind of just are like, eh.
Well,
but like a lot of those,
one of my favorites is 12 Monkeys.
yeah. No, I know that's why, but like, even that is just like, oh.
So there's different styles of time travel movies, right? So you have like 12 Monkeys style, where him going into the past didn't really change anything. Actually, him going into the past is what made the future happen in the first place.
Yeah.
So like,
it's the inevitable. It's like the cycle. It's the
like you can't change anything.
Yeah.
Then there's the Back to the Future type thing where you can totally accidentally change anything and then you can correct it
and make it better.
Back to normal.
Yeah.
Like, okay, sure, that would happen. And then what Primer does
just the bashing of Back to the Future.
Well, and then you have,
okay.
I mean, even Avengers Endgame drops a reference to Back to the Future, and like, nah, it doesn't work like that. It works like this. And then,
do you think then you say, all these movies are basically just throwing at each other, like, oh, this one works. No, this one. No, this is how it would happen. Do you think that what would you say is like if time travel did exist, what time travel movie would have like the closest logic to time travel? Because I think there might be some like, not debate, but I think there's
some logic.
There's some logic here that I think if time travel was invented or is real or whatever, this would be the closest that it
I'm
could
just
be.
saying, if you can time travel,
hit us up in the comments, because we'd love to talk to a time traveler.
Yeah, we'd love to know how you did that. But if time travel is possible, which I'm pretty confident, well, I have some thought. I'll get to it in a second.
Okay.
But if conventional, like going back and forth wherever you want, basically that kind of time travel is possible, I think you would get there by manipulating big magnetic fields and like, setting some kind of conditions in like a box, kind of like what they do in the movie. Like they're using big magnets to create like a field or whatever, and it sounds stupid, but like,
this is, we always goof on you for being like
a nerd.
Conspiracy theory podcasting. I feel like this, like watching you right now, this is the closest that I feel you've gone to something like Joe Rogan-esque type podcasting.
All right, don't compare me to Joe Rogan. Okay?
But you're just looking at you is funny.
I mean, you go with like, Einstein, theory of relativity crap, like gravity affects time, right? So if you could do something to change gravity or something, you probably could time travel. And how would you do that? Probably big magnets. That's where I'm going with. That makes sense to me.
Just big magnets.
Something along those lines.
Yeah.
There's some logic to that,
yeah, I mean, well, I think there's
as for my like actual thoughts, if you go by what Einstein's theory of relativity is, you can go forward in time. Like, confirmed. You can go forward in time.
Really?
You have to go close to the speed of light.
Oh.
Which is kind of the draw. Like, that's kind of
that's
kind of the thing that makes it difficult. But like, even astronauts going into space or going to the moon, they're going forward in time, like, because they're leaving Earth's gravity. You're going forward in time, but like tenths of a second. Like, it's not much. It's not enough to really be significant.
See, like, I'm looking
like, if you look up some stuff about it, you'll read about it.
We really should have been more prepared with like the science-y time travel
Well,
stuff.
this is just
like,
stuff I know already.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm an expert, obviously.
You're
so-
recording a podcast in a garage.
Yeah, well, this is the interesting stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, according to Einstein, you can go forward in time, no problem. You just have to be going really. You got to be cooking. You got to go fast. You got to be Sonic up in there, right? Going backwards in time, not really. Like, they're
Not possible. What's happened
not
is
possible based on what we know currently.
happened. Okay.
Now, if like going into a black hole spits you out, like who knows? But
Yeah, let's
I-
throw an astronaut in a black
I'm
hole.
hey, yeah, I'm just gonna go off on a tangent here. Pretty sure if you go in a black hole, you will just die. So that's. I don't think it's like a wormhole situation.
What if it is? What if you're wrong?
Pretty sure you would get like shredded down into like atoms,
You're just
but I think you would die.
it just goes.
That's my take on that.
Okay.
But yeah, so going backwards in time, generally speaking, is not possible. But I kind of like what they do with Primer, because Primer is like, it's kind of like a loop.
Yeah.
It's like a spring going around. Like it's.
Oh yeah. Well, like, and the
If
reason
you-
why I say that
If
it's
you can
like,
manipulate it, you can come out on the back end, like backwards in time, which is really interesting,
yeah.
because that's how the box works.
Well, like, and that's what I was gonna say is like, when I ask like best time travel movie, or the closest that could be, like, the closest that like actual representation of time travel, I think Primer is honestly a great example of how I would think time travel would work, because something like Back to the Future, it's like, oh, he's going back to 1955, like, really, like, that's insane. like I don't feel like that's possible, like, and it stay the same age, where this is like, oh, they are staying in the box for 6 hours.
Oh, right. That's the other.
Like-
That's the other element of it. You got to stay in the box. How long you want to go back in time?
Exactly, and that's what I.
So if
I
you
like
want to,
about
if you want to
this.
go back to Monday morning, you have to sleep in the box for like 6 hours.
Yeah, and I mean, they even make the thing. It's like their 24 hours turns into 36 hours
Yeah.
because they're basically reliving 6 hours twice
Yeah.
and having to stay in the box another 6 hours.
Yeah. And not.
So
They're smart about it too. They're
Mhm.
like, all right, we're gonna hang out in a hotel, so we don't interact with ourselves, because that obviously that's gonna lead to issues.
yeah,
And when there's duplicates in this at the same time, it's hard to think about. But like, and you don't see a lot of stuff on screen with Primer, so you got to keep that in the back of the mind. Like, there's 2 other versions of them, like chilling in a hotel
Well, yeah.
at that time. It gets a little confusing.
and that's
But-
and that's honestly like,
I watched a very helpful video after the movie that
course, of
explained
course.
it.
I did not. I wanted to come in right to this podcast just being like, yeah, here's my dumb theories, and I want my mind to be blown sometimes,
So
like, right after when we were off mic, you said something about the movie that made me go like, have this realization of like, oh,
yeah.
But, so
Yeah, so basically in the morning they go turn the box on, and then they go to the hotel and chill for a while. And then when they're done at the hotel, they go in back to the box, they get in the box. And then when they get out of the box, it's that morning.
yeah,
And then they have to avoid their first set, who's going to go in and turn in the box on.
mhm.
So like then they go play the stock market or whatever, because they know the future.
What would you do? Like, I know they play the
Okay.
stock market. Now this brings into the question: what would you do if you could time travel?
100%. I think instead of playing the stock market, I'd want something easier, so I would just go with the lottery tickets. Because he says that at some point.
Yeah.
He's like, just play the lottery. But then he said, like, no.
Well,
some
but at
reason.
the same time, it's like, if you play the lottery, then it's like, I feel like it's more draw attention, and that's why I think this is like, for it being low budget and it's like kind of not the greatest visual wise, or the technical aspects of it.
Yeah.
The story of it is like really great in my opinion, because they are like, they have those.
I mean,
Dude,
how would you handle a time machine that works that way?
What do
Where-
you mean?
Where you have to be in it for a certain amount of time to come out on the other end. Like, you have to spend 6 hours a day in the box to go back in time. Kind of weird.
It's weird, but it makes a lot of sense.
It's weird. It does have some logic to it, but then it's like you said, you don't really want to draw attention to yourself.
Yeah.
But, like, how you gonna get ahead, man? You need that cheddar, you know? Get rich quick.
But, I mean, well, but at the same time, it's like, you know, people, like, just kind of going off of, like, you know, the real world aspect and, you know, but, like, when people get big, a lot of attention's on them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, this is why I think that the whole lottery thing or, like, the stock market aspect of it is super smart, is because, like, if it was a lottery ticket, you know, wait until pretty much they could wait until, you know, back, like, I think even a year or two ago, the Powerball was at $1 billion. Like,
Was that high?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Well,
But, like,
that'd be a lot. That'd be nice.
yeah. So, like, all you'd have to do is wait till that, go into the box the day of, you know, or wait until, like, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock when they announce the winners. Then they go back into the box, or they go into the box, buy a ticket that day with that numbers, then they get the numbers. Like, if that was to happen, the media would be all over them because they are now billionaires.
I kind of like the theory that, like, if you were to do that, like, you have knowledge of the future and then you go back in time, because you're kind of, like, doing a redo, and something as random as, like, what numbers come up in the lotto,
Mm-hmm.
it might not be the same numbers. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I
Because
think
it has to be drawn again. So, like, when
but
there's that one part where they're watching the basketball game, and then he thinks something about the game is different, but then he's like, oh, wait, no, I forgot. That part happens first.
yeah,
I thought for a second it was like the other team was going to win the game.
that's
and
what
then,
I thought
and then
too.
that would have been an alarm to him, like, oh,
we
like, we
messed
don't
the fuck up.
because like, we don't understand the way this works like we thought it did. Because that would have been interesting too. Like, every loop you go around,
something changes.
something changes just because of, like, entropy or randomness or something.
Well, I think though
That might have made it too complicated, though.
yeah, I feel like throwing in the randomness because it almost would have been a cop out, I'd say, because then it's like, oh wait, hold on, so why even time travel? You know?
Yeah.
Like,
Okay. That's true. It
like,
would kind of defeat the point.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, okay, you know.
Well, you might not win the lotto anyway.
Exactly. So it's like,
Okay,
it
fair
might
enough.
change your chances, but it wouldn't like
See,
like definite.
actual time travel probably works like that, and that's why it kind of sucks.
Someone found time travel and was like,
"Ah, man,
yeah, aw."
You do a redo, and then it comes out different. It's like that one thing where, like, just observing something changes the outcome in, like, science experiments.
Really?
Yeah. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
So, like, if a tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound, kind of thing?
Wait, really?
I mean, if you think about it. It's like observing something, your presence is there. And, like, if you're observing, like, an organism or something,
Are you talking about, like, is it more like kind of like Schrodinger's cat kind of thing?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
That's more of a quantum thing.
Well, I feel like it would be more, it would be more, but it is kind of
Yeah,
in
like,
that
you
realm.
open the box,
It's like
and the cat is either dead or
Yeah.
alive.
There's 2 branch timelines until you find the actual what the real timeline is. So, you know.
I don't know. Well, it's complicated.
Eh,
But
yeah.
they go with, like, no, it happens the same.
We're actually
going to
turn into a quantum mechanics.
Well,
Like,
this is what Primer is really good. It makes you think about.
oh yeah,
like,
definitely.
It makes you think about that. Like, what if it was possible? What would you do in that scenario?
Oh yeah.
And what makes it extra good is that you kind of find out that Aaron is kind of a control freak, and, like, it's very subtle because you don't get, like, that's kind of the twist towards
Mhm.
the end. Not to spoil it. Oh,
Literally, this podcast
we're like
is about
30 minutes in.
Yeah, this is
But-
about the movie. I think we can spoil it.
Yeah, you
if you haven't seen Primer, go watch it.
So it takes about like one full day for Aaron to kind of be like, you know what? I didn't like the way that went. I'm starting over and like going rogue.
Yeah.
I really like the subtle hints because it's kind of implied that like time travel, might not be good for your health because like his ear is bleeding.
Oh yeah, the ear bleeding and then like the writing is messed up. I really like that because
their writing looks like a child's writing.
Well, it's like, and that's also why I think this is actually a really really smart movie, is because it adds those consequences in there as well.
I saw a comment too that like as you go through the days of the week and there's more and more duplicates of these two guys, of Abe and Aaron, they start wearing different ties so that you can tell them apart, like who's in what scene, like which number of them. Like there's like, Aaron and Abe Prime. That's who you start with at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then once there's more duplicates, they're wearing different ties.
I like that.
Because like the entire movie, they're wearing like a shirt and a tie, but the ties are different. But I didn't notice that when I was watching. That's a very subtle detail.
Yeah, and that's actually like a detail that I like, and that's why I think this is a very smart movie. It's
that's a good filmmaking choice.
Yeah, it's one of those visual choices that actually stand out, and I think it. And of course, it's the budget. I mean, this movie was a $7,000 budget.
Yeah,
like that's why I asked the first question of like, how many people do you think this movie made? Say,
I don't know if I could make a movie about time travel like this smart. I'd mess it up.
But like,
I think the problem with the low budget is like there's no supporting characters.
Yeah,
like,
when we get to the awards are going to be very. It's a barren wasteland, honestly.
Yeah, it's
like there's really nothing, but there's just not.
This movie
really
is all Aaron and Abe.
Yeah,
there's no other characters.
This movie could literally been called Aaron and Abe.
It's not a cool title.
Yeah,
Primers. I don't know why it's called Primer, but
maybe Prime,
like the Prime, the first one.
Primes
at Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime is not in this movie.
No,
I know, bummer.
What the hell? But I think the reason why it's called Primer is because it's the prime, like the two prime Aaron and Abe's are the reasons why they're the primers. They set all the events in motion. Yeah.
In motion, yeah.
So.
Well, I really like the idea of it being like a loop, like time travel loops over and over. But it's like they could have done one loop, like that Monday, and then called it quits. They didn't have to keep doing it. You know what I mean? But they keep doing it.
Then it wouldn't have been a fun movie. It'd been
Aaron goes rogue because he wants to play hero at the party later and save the day from the crazy ex with the shotgun.
Yeah, just randomly.
I didn't like those plot elements because like you don't see any of those characters. You hardly see any of their faces.
It's not even like that. If we're getting into this whole like that scene, because this is my one downside. Like, of course, I have many small like technical nitpicks of it, but this is like probably my biggest one. Is that the ending of this movie? The twist is really good in my opinion. That I'd say Prime Aaron has traveled 4 days into the past, or even more, honestly, to stop this from happening.
The entire thing from the beginning.
Yeah, great premise in my great.
The voiceover narration with like the phone call, like the voice memo.
Yeah.
That is such a good framing device for the entire story.
And that's what I love about it. But I hate that it kind of just becomes, oh, he stopped someone at a party. Now it's like, oh, he's, and that might have been what happened if they won the lottery. Like, imagine, what if they did win the lottery and he was like given the numbers or whatever? Like, could that have had the same effect?
It gets real ambiguous because you're kind of like the movie kind of spans like a week or so.
I think the movie spans like
4 or 5 days.
4 or 5 days, yeah.
But you don't know how many times they went around on these loops.
Yeah.
They could have gone on these loops like hundreds of times, and you wouldn't really know.
Yeah, but why would they?
It kind of feels like...
Why would they have to, you know?
Why would they have to? I mean, like, Aaron really... like, he played out the party scenario with the ex-boyfriend and the shotgun. He played that a bunch of times to try and get it right. Because he wanted the ex, locked away.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they do. Okay, no, they do mention that. Yeah.
He wants him arrested, right?
Yeah.
So he plays it out a bunch of different... We don't know how many times. Maybe...
How many times do you think? Because I would say...
I kind of feel like over the course of the movie, Aaron time travels like way more than Abe.
Yeah.
Like Aaron time travels like...
I think
50 times or something, and then Abe sticks to like maybe just the 1 week.
Yeah.
Because his character is a lot more like chill. He's a lot more cautious. He's not as much of a control freak.
Well,
like Aaron's got an ego, and that's kind of what drives him to do that stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, like, looking at the movie, when I was at least watching the movie, I was like, Abe feels like the one that, and this is actually like kind of a good thing. I don't know if you thought this, but if it was intentional, good on them. But like,
yeah,
Abe to me felt very much more of a, like, in the beginning he was like, let's, come on, let's do this. Let's, we can easily do the stock market. And it was very much more cocky, where Aaron felt more reserved of like, okay, we got to do this, but we got to blah, blah, blah. And I think the change happens.
Yeah, there's a
when
change.
he gets the phone call. When he gets the phone call, that shows, at least to me, I don't know if to you, but that to me shows like he's being a little more reckless.
There's hints too, because like he tells him like you can't have your cell phone because like you'll get the call that's supposed to go to the other Aaron, not you. You have to leave your cell phone in the past. And then later he has his cell phone again.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I forgot.
Yeah, it's very...
But like he didn't forget. He
knew.
He's planning everything out.
Yeah. So like it was just odd to see that change of like Aaron to becoming
actually
now
that you mention it, that is like one of the greatest strengths here.
Yeah.
You kind of have like a role reversal, because the beginning you might think like Abe is going to be the one who F's up all the time travel.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be the one that destroys the entire
for like selfish interest.
Yeah.
But really it's Aaron, and they kind of like, and like you said, Aaron is kind of the more reserved one at the beginning, because really Abe is the one who invented the time machine by accident, right? Like in the garage. Like Aaron wasn't present for all, like, and then Abe tells him about it, and then he gets more involved.
Yeah.
And like Abe is trying to convince him that this is time travel we're witnessing, and he doesn't like believe him. Also, I like how they kind of use like some like fungal growth on like the thing they threw in the machine as like the evidence that time travel is happening. It's like, what a stupid but like boring, minute thing to base like, oh, we're onto something here.
The thing that I really
because
like
that's the way real science works, pretty much, is some minute, stupid details. Like, that's actually really important.
I was gonna say that's like another thing that I like about it, is that it's like, it's the small thing that was like, oh wait, hold on, and it's like the thing that I've been cleaning off it for every 5 to 6 days. He says only would take 5 to 6 years to grow.
Yeah,
and I like that also because it's like fungal, like the fungus. Because it's smaller, and I would say because it's smaller and everything, that means that it has more, it
maybe
can go,
the effects of time,
the effects
like,
will go through.
are like accelerated on it.
Yeah,
that's kind of interesting too. That's a whole like another layer to it.
Yeah,
the role reversal thing is amazing, and I think that's great. You find out that Aaron is such a psychopath. He beat himself up and stuffed himself in the attic. Those are the rats his wife was hearing.
You said that off mic, and I was like, no way.
I didn't catch that when I was watching the movie.
That is so crazy, but
it's himself in the attic, and he's talking like, oh, he's all nonchalant, like he doesn't know that he's up there.
Do you think the Aaron that we follow throughout the movie is actually Prime Aaron?
I have no clue.
Because
I have no idea.
Well, because honestly,
well, maybe if you go back and watch what tie he's wearing, maybe that would help.
Oh,
You know,
I like
what
that.
tie he's wearing at the very beginning, the first time you see him, versus the rest of the film.
Rest of the movie. Ooh. Well, because I was like wondering because
the little diagram that I saw that explained this movie, which
on
is
Wikipedia?
Really funny. It wasn't on Wikipedia. It was on YouTube.
There's one
it was
on
a video.
Wikipedia. That's
There-
how I
there's,
got the
like,
movie explained.
The minimum number of like Abe's is like or Aaron's. There's at least like 6 of them.
Really?
Yes.
That. Wow.
And like according to what I was saying, like if you like going back to the original timeline, at one point there's 3 Aarons, not just 2. There's like 3.
There's 3 just running around.
Like yeah.
Okay.
So like, because there's the one trapped in the attic because he got beat up, and then I also like how there's the one scene where like there's Aaron in the dark hoodie. He's like the evil one. I guess
the evil one's just basically evil one's just basically a tech bro.
Yeah, he fights himself for a second, and then like they come to like an impasse. And like, you know what? We shouldn't be fighting. It's like, actually, I've recorded all your conversations with Abe, so here you go. That might be helpful. So you can be like an evil mastermind.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of. Oh, but then it's like then it's like another paradox, because it's like, if he didn't think to record all of his conversations the first time, and he goes and time travels, and then he who was the first one to start recording the conversations? It makes no sense.
Well, that's also kind of the thing.
It's a paradox.
That's true, but
because he wouldn't have done that the first time.
Maybe that's what I was kind of. Maybe that's actually. I think you might have proven what I said. That is the Aaron that we follow throughout the movie, prime Aaron. The reason why is because if he is recording all of Abe's conversation, what if he's that Aaron that we see at the very beginning of the movie has actually done all of this before, and he's recording throughout the movie to do,
Well, I think at the very beginning of the movie, he doesn't have an earpiece or anything in his ear.
Yeah, but he
doesn't
need the earpiece because he's recording everything.
Oh, like he had the foresight to record everything from the very beginning?
No, so there.
Because that doesn't make sense.
The one at the beginning of the movie has already done the movie, has already gone.
Well, yeah, something like that.
And what we're seeing is him actually recording the dialogue for.
Oh, like the first time. I
Aaron.
think that's what's implied, because you see the scene with the park bench twice. Mm-hmm. The first time Abe is like telling like, "Hey man, you got to check this out," and then the second time, it's revealed that he was listening to it, like he knew what he was gonna say. And then he faints. So I think, man, I don't know.
This movie is very confusing.
I don't know. It's like the causality thing. Like where did it come from? Yeah. Like if your future set, like Indiana Jones style, the dial of destiny, you bring it back to Archimedes and like, here, this is the thing you invented, and then he bases his invention off the thing you gave him. Where did the first thing come from?
It's the paradox.
Nowhere. It just came out of the ether. It doesn't like nothing invented it. It just exists.
Yeah.
It's like, how is that possible?
I think we should just stop talking about all this because my brain is hurting.
Fascinating.
It's fascinating,
is it not?
But my brain is hurting.
Time travel movies are, when it makes you think that much, it's cool.
Oh, it very much is.
This movie needs a remake.
Yeah, I think when we get into the awards here in a minute.
Well,
I think
here's a little question though.
Okay.
The ending of the movie, is that a setup for Primer 2 that was never made?
I don't know.
Because we see one version of Aaron leave the country.
Yes.
And he's just randomly talking to some foreign speakers.
No, it was definitely.
Who are like have hard hats on and are clearly constructing a new time machine, a bigger one.
I definitely think that it was like implied, but I like how it. I like that.
To tie it in with another movie this summer, they're creating an Oppenheimer situation, a chain reaction, by inventing the time machine. It's like a chain reaction to the end of the world. I want to see expanded Primer lore. I want to see Primer 2.
My brain hurts too much that I'm like,
bro, he's gonna make like a bigger time machine box, and then they're gonna send like military vehicles in it. He's gonna take over the world.
What if they set up like a settlement, like a town inside a primer box, and all them, because then it's like,
but it's always existed.
Because then you could send like families back, and instead of the dad, like because if they send them back years, obviously they would age. So like the children would then come out in like the 90s as adults. Isn't that insane?
This is actually I don't know, you broke my brain.
Yeah, I think our brains are broken.
Primer 2 would be sick though. That's all I'm saying.
I like just having the one primer.
A remake and then make it into a franchise.
A
Let's go, Hollywood.
No.
Yes.
Don't do that.
Let's crap all over Steve Carruth's original vision of a low budget movie and make it a Hollywood franchise, baby.
Nah. But just quickly before we go to the awards, what awards, or before we go to our awards, what awards do you think this film was nominated for? Because it won 2.
Probably a Saturn, like, best sci-fi type thing.
It was nominated for 4 Film Independence Awards. Or Film Independent Spirit Awards. It was nominated for Best Feature, Best Director, Best First Screenplay, and Best Debut Performance. It was...
Not to be mean. I wasn't blown away by any of the acting performances.
I
think they were good. They made it feel realistic.
Yeah, well,
but I wasn't blown away.
The one it was nominated, the performance was actually Abe's actor, not Aaron's actor, Shane.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. So it was nominated for
Abe actually emoted and was good,
I think he's like an actual actor because I looked at his stuff and he was
I feel like he's probably continued since Primer.
He has, but not like anything.
He looks familiar, and maybe that's just because he looks like Jonesy from Fortnite. But
Jesus Christ. His most recent one was Sharp Objects, is what I'm seeing, a miniseries from 2018,
which had Amy Adams in it.
Yes.
And also
there was one called Small Town Wisconsin that he was in 2020.
You know how I am aware of sharp objects? My mom was watching on TV, and I heard a song by The Acid playing, and I was like,
okay,
why is my mom listening to The Acid? And I was like, oh, it's a show.
What if your mom was just really cool?
And like, it was just like Amy Adams was in a bathtub, so I was like, oh.
Oh, that gotcha. Of course it did.
Well, I mean, The Acid was playing, and I was like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah, this was nominated for Best Feature. And it was up against Sideways, which won. The best first, it wasn't surprisingly though, it was not nominated for Best First Feature. So,
what beat it in 2004?
Sideways beat it in Best Feature. But Napoleon Dynamite.
That's not fair. They had a higher budget.
Napoleon Dynamite and Garden State were both nominated for Best First Feature, and Garden State won. I'm trying to find the other ones. Best Director.
It's a good set of movies, honestly.
Oh yeah,
2004 randomly a good year for movies.
Best Director Shane Carruth was also nominated against.
Is it Shane?
Shane, yes.
We've said Steve this entire time.
Have we?
Yeah. Sorry, Shane.
Sorry, Shane. Sorry about that. But
time travel. Correct it in time travel.
Yeah, Alexander Payne ended up winning. For Sideways. Sideways kind of took all the big awards that year.
Yeah.
Primer then was also nominated for Best First Screenplay. Lost out to Maria Full of Grace. I don't know what the hell that is, but yeah, nothing really big, but David Sullivan, who was in Best Debut Performance, was actually nominated against Anthony Mackie in a movie called Brother to Brother. So,
fascinating.
Maybe if David Sullivan just got better, he could be in a Marvel movie like Anthony Mackie now. But this did win the Grand Jury Prize for Dramatic Film at Sundance, as well as the Alfred P. Salone Feature Film Prize in 2004. So
That sounds prestigious.
yeah. So that's pretty much all the awards. Do you want to do Fact Corner right now, or do you want to hold off? We'll take a break and then we'll go to the Fact Corner.
Whatever. I'm good with. Actually, you know what? I'm so good with it because I know that time travel is possible, and we got a box set up right there, and like it'll be in no time.
All right. Well, we'll take a quick break. We'll go back into the past so we have more time to record. And then
More time to collect our thoughts.
Yeah, and we will be right back with the awards.
Okay, time for the Fact Corner, sponsored by IMDb, except not actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So that $7,000 budget, most of that was just to buy film stock.
How much was film stock? And I should look that up. How much was film stock?
Probably not. I mean, to make a movie, around a little bit less than $7,000.
I guess.
That's your answer for you.
Okay. Well, I look up that. That's a pretty fun fact. Because we never
burgeoning filmmakers. You know what? That's kind of weird because it's not. That's not really something you got to worry about these days.
What, film? Yeah.
Yeah, you can just film it digitally.
Oh, yeah.
It's
well,
not
like,
even like a concern.
We just go into the Fact Corner. I think that's a fun fact because that's what I have to do. I have to make sure that I have to judge if it's a fun fact or not. And I also found that film, an 18 exposure roll of Kodak Chrome 35 millimeter film was sold for $3.5 thousand, $3.50.
Oh.
So that looks like it's a film camera.
To like make a movie, you'd need a lot of film stock.
Yeah,
for sure.
But yeah, that's pretty it's pretty fun. Fact. What's your next one? Oh wait, hold on. Kodak 35 millimeter says it's about 50 cents per foot, and a foot is about a second of film. So,
is that 2004 price you're talking about?
That's what I'm assuming. That's what I'm finding online, but But anyways, what's your next fact?
Yeah. So, ever hear of a movie called Looper?
Yes.
Another time travel movie.
Directed by Ryan Johnson. Love him.
Yeah. So, Ryan Johnson, in his director's commentary of Looper, he says that Primer is the best time travel movie ever made.
Okay.
And he sent the script for Looper to Shane Carruth, and Carruth told him all his time travel was incorrect. So they differ on their time travel theories.
Yeah, definitely. Which one do you think is right?
Well, I don't remember Looper that well, but if I remember right, it was kind of like you get sent back in time and you just like instantly appear at a certain time and place. And like Looper was like, okay, you send some guy to go kill the guy who's going back in time. But then the whole plot of Looper is that Bruce Willis is an older version of himself.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, oh, I don't want to kill myself. So
well,
it's like a whole like thing. But so that kind of I don't think that's like creating multiple timelines, you know what I mean? It's not splintering off.
Well, yeah.
So I think most people
I'd say this one's probably better than Looper in all honesty,
So I think the Looper logic of there being like one timeline, a lot of people don't agree with.
Yeah, fair.
Which is kind of interesting.
Yeah. Man, that sucks to be Ryan Johnson to get your script back.
Yes.
And like been told you're wrong. But
I can just imagine his screenplay with like notes all in the margins, like incorrect, wrong.
Just over every single page, just in big bold letter, wrong.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. What's the next one?
All right. So Shane Carruth he went into this with no prior experience.
Mm-hmm.
He had never done any writing, producing, directing, editing, or like scoring for a movie at all. It took him 3 years to complete the movie. So like he started in 2001.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And he wrote the screenplay over the period of a year and was working as an independent movie guy. Okay, I'm reading this incorrectly.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. He worked he worked on independent movies as
Yes.
a mic op.
He was a boom guy. He was
Yeah.
the boom mic guy. Shooting the movie only took a month, but the film spent nearly 2 years in post-production due to
That
editing
is
problems.
insane.
During that period, Carruth claims to have quit the movie 3 or 4 times. So perseverance, kids. That's what
Yeah.
it is important.
Okay. That's pretty good. I can definitely feel, and I'm definitely, editing takes a while, and it's very, very annoying
Yes.
to be an editor.
As
mean,
an editor, listen to this next one.
Okay.
In order to cut costs, Shane Carruth did mostly single takes of shots and filmed on 16mm stock. This was then transferred to mini digital video film, which he could edit on his PC.
Okay.
This caused some unforeseen problems. The editing software couldn't handle the sound properly, and 2 months of editing were needed just to synchronize the audio to the video.
I can see that. I can see that.
You spoke to some
maybe that is very
synchronization
after
issues.
hearing that is very obvious.
Yeah.
So
the biggest problem, however, was the relative lack of footage, which made it difficult to work around continuity errors and technical problems because there often wasn't an alternate take that could be used.
Damn, that is insane. But
because that sucks. Like, imagine you're doing,
sucks.
and it's, these big budget films nowadays, they just like, we need reshoots,
yeah,
and they just go and do it because they have that
yeah.
kind of money laying around.
Oh yeah, no, that's like that sucks because like it's genuinely like that whole like
you
idea
already
it makes me nervous and angry at the same time.
Like, you already put some scenes together, but you realize, there's a continuity error. You can't fix it unless you recreate the exact conditions, which is, as we all know, is impossible. Really hard to do.
Seamlessly. That just angers me a little bit, but okay. What's the next one?
So over 100 people auditioned for the parts of Abe and Aaron. David Sullivan was cast as Abe without professional acting experience.
Okay.
You
can definitely see.
Yeah. Shane Carruth cast himself as Aaron when he couldn't find the right person for the role.
So
he had a real life Thanos moment and was like, "Fine,
I'll do it myself."
I'll do it myself.
To me that just reads big ego, but okay, sure.
Well, that fits his character in the movie.
Yeah, fair. Fair, yeah.
I mean, he does fine in the movie.
Yeah, he is.
He's very believable as like an everyday kind of person.
Yeah, but he's the weakest. He's the weakest of the two, in my opinion. So
out of the duo of two people,
yeah.
I mean, that's not that big of a slight, but sure.
Yeah, but is that all the facts from the fact?
That was the top 5 on IMDb. I mean, there is more. I didn't see that. There is.
What is what's your little tagline for this fact corner? By the way, forgot to ask you that.
Oh, shoot! I forgot how we were doing those.
You just
prime facts.
There you go. That's perfect. So we'll go. What would be, or we are introducing a new thing with the fact corner. What would you say is the Rick Dalton / Viggo Mortensen Toe Award for the most film bro fact? So if you're like watching this with people, what fact would you go, hey, look, kind of thing? Because I would say, I think it's the Rian Johnson one.
Uh-huh.
Like if you're watching Looper, you could be like, Primer.
Yeah.
So that's what my choice would be. What would be yours?
Like you're on the couch with your totally existent girlfriend or whatever. Like, hey babe, yeah, Rian Johnson actually said Primer was his favorite time travel movie.
She's like, oh man,
who's Rian Johnson? I don't care. Please, can we just watch something else?
Please, like, yeah. I don't want to watch Primer for the 15th time today. Please. Just like really into Primer, but let's go straight into the awards. I think these are gonna be pretty quick, honestly. There's not really a lot of a lot of things that fill this category, but of course we always start with best scene. So the nominees I have are the first test with the box that's in the garage, and they
There's some mystery at work still.
Let's put my cam. Can we put your camcorder in it? Well, you better reimburse me or whatever.
Imagine you're at Sundance watching this in 2004, and you have
God.
no context for what is gonna happen.
I would pay to time travel to be a fly on the wall and watch the audience watch Primer.
Sean, you don't have to time travel. Just get in the box right there.
Oh, shit, you're right.
No, you're gonna have to stay in there for, let's see, 19 years. But it should be doable.
I pop out as a 40-year-old man, and I'm like, I'm finally back. I've gotten to the place. I gotta go to Utah. I gotta go.
Is that where Sundance is?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Salt Lake City. Or I'm pretty sure.
Literally the first time that fact has been dropped on me.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's Utah. Yeah, it's Park City, Utah. So,
wow. Small world. I've never been
there. Second scene is Abe shows Aaron that time travel is real. This is when,
they're talking about the fungus growing on this.
I would say talking about the fungus, and then also into Abe's first test, when he brings Aaron to the field and goes, look, and they see Abe walk in.
They see the duplicates of themselves. That part's actually great, because it's like...
the first time they see the duplicate of just Abe.
You're like, whoa!
Yeah.
You're like, this is something else.
You know what we could use? Look, I know we've seen a lot of crazy things lately, okay? And I know you're still trying to put it all together in a way that makes sense. But you got it. No, I don't. Look, I just want you to understand that what's next is not a prank, okay? I wouldn't do that to you, and I'm not doing that to you. So when you see this, bring one with you. Can't yell or make any noise or run anywhere, okay? I know you probably feel like you're being tricked or made fun of, but you're not, okay? I promise you, you're not, okay? What was that, Abe?
Third scene, Aaron and Abe repeat the experiment. So this is basically from when he goes, I want to repeat it just like you did, to when they see when they get out of the box the next morning and they see their duplicates go in. Fourth one, Aaron and Abe chase Granger. This is when I think that scene when they get in the car and they drive.
I don't know how I feel about the inclusion of like some other random guy who you barely have any context for who they even are.
Well, I think that also adds into the whole party scene, which is my big gripe with the film. But and then the ending with Aaron.
It's weird because it needed some sort of action scene, like something.
Yeah.
And like that was the best they could do with like.
Well, yeah.
A couple nickels for the budget.
But what would you? Do you have any other nominees?
The one part where they're at the fountain at night searching for like a cat or something.
It is a weird scene. Yeah.
Like, I don't even remember why.
I don't know either. I honestly don't.
Because
I was watching it on my computer.
He woke up too early or something. I don't remember. I really don't.
I don't remember either.
I don't even know what's going on in it.
Primer's a weird.
Did you have the park bench scene anywhere?
I would say that's with the Aaron.
One or two.
Abe shows Aaron.
I don't know. I kind of about the second one where it's revealed that
would be the ending. I feel like
his conversations were recorded. You know what that reminds me of?
That's like the last 15 minutes of the ending.
You know what that reminds me of though? A lot.
What?
Death Note. He's like, actually, I've been recording your conversations the entire time. I know everything that you're gonna say. Like, it has that kind of vibe to it, does it not?
It does, but no. I don't want to bring it. I don't want to get into Death Note.
Hey, man, you're just mad because I'm right. That's a Death Note-esque type thing. It's an anime twist. It's literally an anime twist.
It really is.
And Primer.
What would you say is the best scene?
I'll go with the anime twist.
The anime twist?
That Aaron beat himself up and stuffed himself in the attic, and he's like recorded all the conversations and stuff.
I gotta go with Aaron and Abe repeat the experiment. I think that is just a fun scene, especially when they're like, well, we'll bring your truck so that because our car's gonna be gone, and then we'll have an actual mode of transportation. And then
that's the first scene in the movie where you're like, okay, this is something bigger.
Yeah.
That's fair.
All right, best actor.
Sullivan.
David Sullivan. I was gonna go David Sullivan because it's really only
between
Carruth
him and Shane Carruth.
Yeah, because also there is no supporting actor award given here because
there's faces in the background.
Yeah. None of them are great. The only one that I could say is like the wife of Aaron, but she's not even in it that much. So
she's kind of like in an important scene though.
Which one?
Where she's talking to him about time travel, but she doesn't know what they're talking about really. But he's like, if you could go back in time, what would you? I'd punch my boss. But then then Abe is like, well, you can't do that. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't do that. I mean, that scene is kind of important because
it's important, but
it sheds light on who Aaron is as a person.
Yeah, but yeah, there's really no
there's
supporting actors, so we'll just get out. But of course, we said David Sullivan for best actor as Abe. Favorite character, Aaron or Abe? Which one are you going for? You just
I would go with Abe because
yeah.
It's like every movie ever when you got like a good thing going.
Mm-hmm.
There's like the one that's like chill, and then you got the Walter White over here with the ego, with your ego and your and he's got to go and ruin it because he's a big shot. He's got to be in charge. He's got to be top dog or whatever.
I'm gonna pull a little little reversal on this question. I'd say my favorite for the first hour of this movie is Abe, and then the last 15 minutes is Aaron.
So you like Aaron manipulating all the events?
I like
in his
Aaron
favor?
manipulating all the events because it's such an interesting twist.
Also,
I don't
also
like him
kind of
becoming
like
the hero though.
I already said it was like Death Note, but yeah, the way he's manipulating everything.
I like his manipulation. I hate the way he manipulates it. I do not like the story there. That's my one thing. So
you don't like the story? How? Like,
just the whole him the party, that's how he gets out is the party and everything, and puts the guy away or whatever. I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah.
So, best line, I only put 2. I think I saw a third one. But it's I'll go with the first one that I'm just gonna play right now. I'm not gonna say it all out, but it's the NASA create a zero-G pen.
You know that story about how NASA spent millions of dollars developing this pen that writes in zero-G? Did you ever read that?
Yeah.
And how Russia solved the problem?
Yeah, they used a pencil.
Right, a normal wooden pencil.
And then the second one is the technician going, you know what they do with engineers when they turn 40? They take them out and shoot them. It's not a great line, but it says it. They say it has like a callback.
I think the most notorious and best line of this movie is, I haven't eaten since later this afternoon.
Yeah.
What? What? We're supposed to win this by 2. They just turned over with 12 on the clock. We have to foul. No, we have to foul. What? No, we foul here. I missed the first free throw. They come back with a 3. That's right. That's right. Yep. Man, are you hungry? I haven't eaten since later this afternoon.
It's one of those lines that's just I guarantee Shane Carruth wrote that and sat there.
It's such a smart ass quote.
Yeah, he's staring at the piece of paper and he just sat back in his chair, crossed his arms and went,
"Yep,
yeah,
that's it."
Best piece of music, I think just the score by Shane Carruth is the only real music.
I'll be honest.
And it's not
the music didn't even register to me.
The music's fine. The music's really fine.
Like ambient.
Yeah, but
sounds.
Dark Side of the Rainbow, is there an album or song that would work well with this? Because I think just because it has kind of the same theme, I'd say the Interstellar soundtrack.
Sure.
I could see that working with this.
Oppenheimer soundtrack. Throw that in
Ooh,
there.
just two.
Any
Christopher
of
Nolan.
those types of movies have
Honestly,
the right
any
kind of
Christopher-
soundtrack.
Any Christopher Nolan soundtrack would probably work with this.
I would say the random song I started listening to, I heard a song by the band Merchandise, and it's
Okay.
called "Right Back to the Start." So
Oh
that's-
yeah,
that'd
be a
the title
cool,
is very apt.
that'd be a good song
for
to play over like the
time travel.
credits.
It's also kind of like a weird alt pop kind of sound, which I think would fit
Fit with it. Nice.
Primer.
You
pretty
gotta show me that when we stop.
I already did. Last time you were in my car, I played it.
Oh,
Remember, I was like, "Hey, I like this song. I heard it the other day."
Okay. I did not know that was that song.
But
The Norton to Ruffalo Hulk Award. Which actor would
Okay,
you replace?
so I feel like Shane Carruth looks like Topher Grace. So Topher Grace.
Okay. I was gonna say, can we recast the two main actors with bigger named actors? I have 3 of them down. I have one for about where the time was.
If they make a remake, here are suggestions.
I have one. One of them is just me going based on what they look like.
Mhm.
The other one is the one that would be made now. And then
Rachel
the other
can be
one-
Florence Pugh in the background.
No.
Yes. If we're talking remakes and they remake it and they flesh out some supporting characters,
I would, but
throw
yeah.
Florence Pugh in there. She's hot right now. Get her in the movie.
Okay. But as I said, I have one that was about like just what they look like, or actors that look similar to them. The other one was if they remade it now, and then the third one is kind of where like some actors that would work when this movie came out.
Okay.
So the first one that I said that I put the two that I would think that kind of look very similar to him, Mark Duplass and Philip Seymour Hoffman.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I think Shane Carruth looks a lot
Philip
like
Seymour Hoffman?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, I think he looks kind of like Abe's actor.
Is Philip Seymour Hoffman still with us?
No, he's not.
Yeah, he passed. Okay.
But that's
so
what I'm just saying.
That'd be kind of hard to do, Sean.
Well, yeah, but like,
unless
on,
you time travel.
Oh no. Come on, don't tell me Mark Duplass does not look like Shane Carruth.
Oh no, yeah, that's
That's
fair.
I think that's what I'm getting at. Is that was the one
Maybe.
that looked similar.
He needs to be an everyman though.
I think Mark Duplass is an everyman.
He looks kind of more like,
I mean,
almost a Gerard Butler type. Almost.
I disagree, but
I don't know.
Then the one that if it was made now, I think this would be a good one. Paul Dano as Aaron and Rupert Grint from Harry Potter as Abe.
Why?
I think it would be just like, two like 35-year-old actors,
That's two very random choices.
I thought they worked.
I don't know.
And then the one that would be around that time, the time that it was made, Topher Grace. I brought that, took that over from you.
He looks like Topher Grace, man.
And
Seth
Seth Green as Abe.
Seth Green?
I think those two would work.
Why?
I don't know. The red
Seth
hair.
Green doesn't look like him.
The red hair. He's not a bad
Red
actor.
hair?
Yeah.
Wasn't he blonde?
He's more redhead. He's more like
I
a
don't know.
strawberry blonde.
No, I'm like
He had a more lighter red.
Abe in the movie was like blonde, wasn't he? Bro,
hold on. Hold on.
Are you gaslighting
Abe
me?
from Primer. That's
Like,
all I'm gonna look
he looks
up.
like Jonesy from Fortnite. He's a
Oh
blonde.
my god. It's blonde, but it's reddish blonde. He's like a dirty blonde.
Okay. If you say so. Who should be
anyways.
Granger? I was thinking like a bearded up. Shoot. Maybe a Sean Harris or because I just saw.
Yeah, you just saw the stranger.
Yeah, or Oh man, I had a good one. I don't know his name though.
Jeez. Okay.
I really don't. Oh, like Nick Offerman.
Nick Offerman would be really good. Yeah. Let's get through this because right now we're sitting at about an hour 15, and this pod will be longer than the movie. But,
our viewers can just time travel and skip ahead.
Oh my god. Muppet Mayhem. Who would you change to a Muppet?
There's only like 2 characters in this film, Sean.
Yeah, but like
the ex-boyfriend with the shotgun should definitely be a Muppet.
See, that's why I made this category because it's a fun little
stupid
thing. Fuck, Marry, Kill.
I hate the Muppets.
You know who I'd, fuck, Marry, Kill.
I'm gonna not applicable. Okay?
Not applicable?
No,
No,
not applicable.
Hold on.
Hold on. That's
hold
my
on.
cop out. It's not applicable.
I would fuck Abe.
I thought you were gonna say the time machine.
You know what? I'll fuck the time machine. I'll marry Abe and I'll kill Aaron.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. Like I said, with this category, you kill the bad guy. Aaron kind of turns out to be the bad guy. You kill the bad guy every time. Dumb category.
Oh my god. Okay. Lego set setting. What's
their garage?
I think their garage would be. I think
that's
the storage
it's
unit
like
would
one
be
of the
kinda
only
fun.
settings.
I think the storage unit and like the play feature is you put 2 minifigures in.
Oh, and it
and
like
then it
spits.
pops out.
Yeah,
the two, 2 other
I like
minifigures.
that. I like that. Maybe also the fountain that they're searching for the
just
cat.
a random fountain. That'd be funny.
It's such a weird.
It's such a
random
weird scene. Matinee or midnight movie. I think this is like a really good midnight movie.
Yeah,
Like I watched this late at night and I felt very much like
I watched it very late at night as
Yeah.
well. I was watching it at the same time probably.
I
and,
did it way later. I was like watching this at like 3 in the morning.
Oh my god. Well, no, that's kind of around right when I ended it. So
Oh,
it was
okay.
right around there.
But yeah, no, I think this is like a really good midnight
It's
movie.
no, I think it's a post midnight movie
Like a 1 a.m.
in a weird, out of place, out of time, esque era, perfect for a
like that.
time travel movie.
Okay. Double feature picture show, best double feature screening. What would you say?
Back to the Future. No, that movie is like totally not
Yeah.
even close.
12
12 Monkeys. Throw it in there.
Monkeys.
Yeah.
I might go Looper actually because you brought up Ryan Johnson. I think,
Looper probably fits better because it's more.
yeah,
It's like closer in style, maybe.
yeah. I
Even
think
though it's-
Looper would work.
Yeah.
Would this be better under the influence?
Oh, you would.
No, I could not figure.
You
I
can't
would turn it
understand
off.
it when you're. You can't understand everything that's happening when you're sober. So good
Yeah.
luck.
We changed this one a little on the last episode. But it's see with friends, alone, or on a date. See
This
on
could be a really good date movie if you're with the right type of person, because then you can get them talking about like time travel, and that's when you know you hit the jackpot. Is when they're like excited to talk about.
They're like,
jackpot
yes.
or time travel.
that I was gonna say this is a crazy movie to be like, hey babe, I know it's our first date, but wanna watch Primer.
You might want to know their personality a little bit better.
Yeah, I think Alone actually
Well,
would work a lot better. Maybe like 2 friends.
Okay, I'm
Maybe
sorry,
if we
but
watched it together,
If
just me and you.
I know, I guess I'm a guy, so different roles, but like whatever. If I was taken on a date to see Primer as a first date, I would not complain, because that's like a interesting little weird movie. You know, like
Babe, you don't understand Primer.
a time travel movie. I don't know.
Eh.
I think if you're crapping on a time travel movie, like you're not having any fun. Like you must be fun at parties. You're probably the guy with the shotgun walking in. Like,
Oh my god. So people who hate Primer are actually actually going to commit murder.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
You don't see it. Okay, that's one thing about Primer that isn't that great is a lot of things are alluded to or implied and you don't see it happen. And
Well,
I know that's because
it's a
they're
low
operating
budget,
on a
so-
very small budget, but it'd be nice to see some things happen
Yeah.
on screen.
Well, that's why we need to remake it. But One Night Stand or Comeback Kid? This is very much a comeback kid for me.
Yeah,
You have to watch this.
This is one you should watch on a timely basis. See what I'm saying?
All right.
You know,
I'm not
every
I'm
now
not
and
even
then,
gonna acknowledge the pun.
because I feel like
Uh,
if you watch this again, you'll notice something you didn't before. for
Oh yeah,
sure.
definitely. And then final one, rating out of 10. What'd you give it?
So it's a mixed bag.
It's
a
hard
mixed bag
question.
because the premise is so good.
The
and
premise
they
to
really
me is a 9 out of 10.
really sell you on it.
Yeah.
They sell you on the premise very well, very convincingly. I like the jargony language they use in a way that feels realistic.
Yeah.
However,
I was gonna say
this
Premise
was
and
Shane's
story?
first movie, and you can tell.
very much.
You know, it's not the greatest looking movie. It definitely feels like they just filmed at like random locations around their hometown. it didn't do anything too exciting camera wise. And they try to at a couple parts, like when Abe is at the top of the car park looking down at Aaron on the bench. Later in the movie, when he goes back, like he does that again, they kind of mimic the same camera movements because it's like the same moment. So like there's some good ideas in there for sure, but just the way it's executed is not amazing.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You get what I'm saying? But to rate this any lower than like a 7 out of 10, I think would if you're like a hardcore cinephile where it's like you care a lot about how a movie looks, like maybe you'd put it at like a 6. But I would say 7 because it's such an interesting premise, and it does time travel in a way that is different from a lot of other things I've ever seen. So
what I was gonna say was the story and concept is like a 9 to me. Like this is a really, really great story.
Yes.
The execution,
like I said, I would have
5.
liked to have seen some of these things that they're talking
And
about
I get it's low budget, but
happen on screen.
Yeah, I get it's low budget, but like there's some stuff that I'm like,
the
you could do better.
The whole framing device with the narration of like him calling himself,
it's amazing.
Is amazing.
Yeah,
that whole thing, and then at certain parts you get back to the narration, like in the middle of the movie. Great.
Yeah,
that's actually fantastic.
But it's just the execution is like, So I
would
give this
maybe like an actual.
I'm sitting at a 7. I'm sitting at a 7. I'll say that.
Actual good action scene in there somewhere too would be nice.
I'm sitting at a 7 with that. So, but yeah, that's been Relax and Rewind Primer. Yeah.
Are you primed?
No. But yeah, that was Trevor's pick. You felt good about that pick?
I felt really good about that pick. That was so much better than the other choices.
All right.
Really.
Well, it is my pick.
Aw, man. You get to pick one?
Hey.
You should just let me pick every week.
Nah. This is my pick time. But my episode will be coming out on October 6th, though. And so I'm introducing this rule this episode. Every movie that we're going to be covering in October is going to be a horror movie because October is Halloween time.
Spooky season.
So, you got to start off Halloween right. And the only way to start it off right is by doing one of the most legendary horror movies. So that is why my pick for the next episode of
get on with it.
For the next
spit it out.
Hold on. I'm building up.
It's
Hold
called tension.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know about it.
It's called, I got to get the audience primed and ready before I just let them go.
You can't just hit them with no primer,
Exactly. But my pick is the 1973 horror movie, The Exorcist.
I thought you were going to say Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
No. What, did Texas
The Exorcist?
Did Texas Chainsaw... Hold on, let me...
I don't know if that's 73. It's probably not.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out in...
The Exorcist is a good pick because...
1974.
Because guess what?
Because Exorcist...
They're remaking it.
The new Exorcist is coming.
Is it a remake or a reboot?
It's a sequel.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ew.
I'm pretty sure it's a direct sequel to The Exorcist. This upcoming sequel is a direct sequel to The Exorcist. So,
man, I'm not ready for demon shenanigans.
Me neither.
It's so annoying.
But of course, like I said,
you
gotta go, and it's also perfect because we just lost William Friedkin. He passed back in August.
Is he in the original movie?
He's the director of the original movie. So
behind the
camera.
think
start off Halloween right. We're gonna watch The Exorcist.
What's his last name? Friedkin. Yo, he's freaking.
Oh my god.
He was freaking out when he put together The Exorcist.
Where can you watch The Exorcist? Let me look that up.
Anywhere?
Well, not just anywhere. Come on, bud.
Your local library.
Go rent the DVD from your local library, Or you
Man,
can stream it on Max.
Don't you miss video stores?
Oh yeah, every day. But
And,
you can watch
DVD
this.
stores.
Yeah.
I want Blockbuster, man.
Blockbuster, losing Blockbuster was a genuine travesty, but you can watch this. You can watch The Exorcist on Max. Gosh, I am having hiccups. But yeah, check back.
There's a demon in him.
Yeah. Check back next week when we cover that on here. You can follow me on Letterboxd at _filmworker_ Trevor.
Trevzilla. Letterboxd.
Perfect. You can also follow this channel After the Credits on Instagram at _afterthecredits_. That's all one word.
Have we posted any pictures on there?
Yeah, we have.
Like what? Pictures of what?
You know, pictures. Also, we post.
You should give me full creative control over that.
Okay.
I'm quite talented at making.
Okay, fine. I'll give you that. All right, that's fine.
Stuff.
Okay. I'm fully fine with that. So, but yeah, check back next week when we'll be covering The Exorcist. So, yeah, this has been.
Next week we'll exorcise your demons or whatever.
Yep, we will. So, yeah, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.